All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're going to be jumping into Surah As-Sajda.
Okay.
And, it's called the prostration, right?
Right.
This is the 32nd chapter of the Quran. And it's actually revealed in Mecca.
Yes.
So I think what we're going to be doing today is going through this surah and really trying to pull out, the practical life lessons.
Sure.
For you, for me.
Mm.
Like, how can we actually take this information and apply it to our lives?
Yeah.
And this surah, it's actually pretty short, like 30 verses.
That's right.
But it packs a punch, I think.
It does.
It covers faith, creation, resurrection, like some pretty big topics.
Yes.
And it even touches on like the destinies of believers and disbelievers, which is pretty intense.
Huge, yeah.
So if you're ready, let's dive into it.
Yeah.
I guess right off the bat, it starts with this Aleph Lam Mim, right?
Right.
Which I don't know if everyone knows. It's like these mysterious letters.
Yeah, and they always draw attention to the miraculous nature of the Quran.
Yeah.
They're like an invitation to reflect deeply, right from the beginning.
Okay. So I guess kind of moving on from there, like verse 2 is pretty powerful too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like straight up, it's like the revelation of this book, the Quran, in which there is no doubt, is from the Lord of the worlds.
Right.
Like, it's so direct.
It establishes unwavering trust in the Quran. Like, this is it.
Yeah. This is the absolute truth.
Right. For you, for me, for everyone.
Yeah, like no doubt. And then I guess we go to verse 3, and it's addressing those who are kind of like questioning the Prophet Muhammad, right?
It is, yeah.
Saying the Quran is the truth from your Lord, that you may warn people to whom no warner has come before you, so they may be guided.
That's right. So it's really emphasizing that this message is for everyone.
Yeah.
And it really highlights the role of messengers and their responsibility to spread that divine guidance.
Yeah. Okay, I see. So kind of moving on from there, we get into creation, right? Verses 4 through 6.
That's right.
Allah creating the universe in 6 days.
Yeah.
And Allah establishing himself upon the throne.
Right.
But then there's this reminder
Right.
that we have no protector or intercessor besides him.
That's a huge point.
Yeah.
Like, we can't rely on anyone but Allah.
Exactly. It's all about placing your ultimate reliance on him alone.
Okay.
And then you get this fascinating thing in verse 5, where it talks about Allah managing everything from heaven to earth.
Okay.
And it says, a day for him is like 1,000 years to us.
Wow.
Sometimes even 50,000 years in other parts of the Quran.
Okay.
So it just gives you a sense of this scale.
Yeah.
And it encourages patience.
Oh, yeah. Like, his plan is so much bigger than we can even fathom.
Absolutely.
And then verse 6, it talks about his knowledge of everything, the unseen, the seen, his might, his mercy.
Yeah. So it's calling on you to be sincere in your approach to him.
Okay, I see. All right. So then we move to, I guess, verses 7 through 9. This is where we get into like human creation, right?
That's right. Yeah.
It talks about how Allah perfected our creation.
Yes. Every
Oh.
detail. But then I found this part pretty interesting where it says we originate from clay and then a despised fluid.
Yeah.
It's kind of a humbling thought.
It is, right? It's a reminder of our humble beginnings.
Yeah, for sure. And then it goes on to talk about how he fashioned us with hearing, vision, and hearts.
Right. These are the tools that allow us to experience and understand the world.
Yeah.
And then it ends with this powerful line, little are you grateful.
Mhm. It really makes you think, like, do we actually appreciate these blessings as much as we should?
It's a call to be more conscious of what we have and express gratitude for it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we're getting closer to the end of the surah, and then verses 10 and 11 present this really stark contrast, right?
Yes.
Between those who deny resurrection and the absolute certainty of death and our return to Allah.
It's highlighting the reality of our journey. We can't escape it.
No, it's definitely a reminder to keep that bigger picture in mind. And that verses 12 through 14, it talks about the regret of those who neglected the hereafter.
Yeah. They wish they had another chance, but they're facing the consequences of their choices.
It's a powerful reminder to live with intention, right?
Absolutely. To not just be caught up in the immediate, but
Yeah.
to consider the long-term consequences.
Okay. So then we get to this beautiful description of believers in verses 15 to 17.
Right.
They fall in prostration upon remembrance. They glorify Allah. They avoid arrogance.
Yes. It really emphasizes their humility and devotion.
And it even mentions their dedication to night prayers and charity.
Right. Their actions reflect their faith. It's not just about belief, but how that belief translates into your conduct and your generosity.
And the reward waiting for them. It's described as comfort for eyes.
Yeah, something beyond our imagination.
Okay. So then verses 18 through 20, it contrasts the believers in the gardens of refuge with the disbelievers in the fire.
It paints a clear picture of the different outcomes based on our choices.
Yeah, no, it's pretty clear cut.
Yeah. And then verses 21 and 22 talk about a nearer punishment, the trials we face in this life, and the consequences of ignoring divine guidance.
Okay. So it's not just about the hereafter, but how our actions affect us in this life as well.
Exactly. It has implications for our immediate reality.
I see. All right, so we're almost at the end. And I found this part really interesting, too, where it encourages us to learn from past civilizations, those that were destroyed.
That's in verses 26 and 27, right?
Yeah. It's like looking back at history to understand the consequences of certain paths.
Absolutely.
And it also talks about seeing the signs of resurrection in nature.
Like barren land reviving with rain.
Yeah, it's all around us. And then finally, verses 29 and 30.
Yeah.
It says, the disbeliever's disbelief won't help them on Judgment Day. And it instructs the prophet, and I guess us by extension, to be patient and await Allah's judgment.
Right, so it leaves us with this sense of accountability.
So I guess this surah really covers a lot, and it brings up some pretty big questions. Given all this, how can we align our lives with this message of submission and gratitude? I mean, what's one thing we can do today to move in that direction?
Yeah, it's definitely a call to action, isn't it?
It is.
And I think that's a really good question to think about.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that was Surah As-Sajda. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. Until next time.
Okay, see you then.